you could only get extended for 18 million. This is all hypothetical numbers. There's probably like something I'm missing, but that's the idea. So if you're not a NBA team member, an all-star, or anything like that, you will not be able to get a max contract offer from your team as an extension due to the fact that the team can only offer you 100% increase of your current deal. So if you're only making $9 million and you haven't hit any of the qualifiers to qualify for a bigger deal, that team can only extend you for 100% increase of your current deal, meaning that this player, Jakob Poeltl, can only get offered about $14 million, $15 million by the San Antonio Spurs. So Jakob Poeltl can sign an extension with San Antonio Spurs, but the two sides are limited on the number that can be agreed upon at this point due to his current contract that pays $9.4 million. The two sides have reportedly discussed an extension, but Jakob Poeltl believes he could do better on the open market this offseason when his contract expires. Brian Windhorst of ESPN said Jakob Poeltl is in the final year of his deal. From what I'm told, the Spurs discussed a contract extension with him, but he's limited to by how much he can sign for. It's the same reason they traded DeJounte Murray. They did such a good job on the contract that it's almost worked against you, because when you want to sign a player, the player wants more than you can give him because you're limited on how much of a raise you can give an extension. I believe Poeltl can sign an extension that it can average for $14 million per year. That's pretty good money for him, but he thinks he could do better, and I don't blame him. The way he's playing, he probably can. Maybe the Spurs get to the offseason and re-sign him unrestricted, but however, he's headed to free agency. He can reverse course and take the extension offer. I don't know what they have offered. I know the max offer is $14.5 million, $15 million on average. He's a trade candidate, end quote. Brian Windhorst. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably gone. That puts San Antonio in a tough pickle, because I like Zach Collins. He's been playing really well. But I don't think Collins or Roby have given me enough to – I don't think they're looking for long-term keys. I think they've got their – it actually kind of looks like they have their guy in Keldon Johnson. He really looks like he's taken the franchise cornerstone. He's like running away with it right now. So, I mean, Jakob Poeltl, I've been watching a ton of Spurs games this season. I've been making a ton of Spurs videos. I think there's a legitimate argument that he's a top 5 center in the league just because of his defensive capabilities. I mean, 2 nights ago, Karl Anthony Towns had a really good first quarter. After that, he was shut down. So was Rudy Gobert. So I think long term, it doesn't make too much sense for San Antonio to keep him, even if I know Poeltl has he's quote unquote evaluating his future with the San Antonio Spurs right now, but I think the money is going to get in the way and be a problem. So I don't think he stays, unfortunately. I think that they probably trade him away around the trade deadline, but I don't know if they're looking at next year's draft to find a replacement or free agency. I'm not quite sure what they plan on doing. I mean, Ayton would have been really nice for this team, but
so according to John Hollinger's stats for qualified centers this far in the season, through his top 20 centers in this order by PER is Nikola Jokic is the best center in the NBA currently. Number 2, guess who's the second best center? Jonas Valanciunas. Number 3, and we're going to only do guys who are playing at least, I think, 16 or 17 minutes a night. Because Naz Reid would be technically 3, but he's playing 10 minutes a night, so that doesn't count. Number 3 is Joel Embiid. Number 4, Nick Richards. Number 5, Alperen Şengün. Number 6, Bol Bol. Number 7, Kristaps Porzingis. Number 8, Andre Drummond. Skip Robin Lopez because he's barely playing. So right here at 9, I believe it is our man Jakob Poeltl, followed up by Brook Lopez at 10, and then 11 you get yourself to Christian Wood, 12 Rudy Gobert, 13 Walker Kessler, 14 Nikola Vucevic, 14 Jock Landale, and then 15 Beef Stew Isaiah Stewart. So isn't that a crazy list? The 9th best center right now arguably is Jakob Poeltl. And when you look at the teams, what team could take Jakob Poeltl? You got to think of a team that could be interested. I was initially going to say the Charlotte Hornets, but Nick Richards and the Mason Plumlee duo, why would you give that up right now? I think it just ruined the chemistry that they got going there. But a team, if Brook Lopez were to get hurt, I could see the Bucks being the first team to call up and being like, hey, Come on. You know, I think the team that people aren't expecting is the Los Angeles Clippers. But they play small ball, so like I like Zubac, but I was just thinking about whenever Zubac comes off the floor, that might not work. It could even be maybe. What team do you see him going to? What if they can convince, the Suns be like, send us DeAndre Ayton, we'll send you Jakob Poeltl.
I feel like I'm getting the short end of the straw, but
you throw a few picks, obviously.
I think Toronto's a sleeper.
Bring him back. The return of Poeltl.
They have the assets for it.
So right now, I'm thinking this. Like, look, I would definitely. They have the assets, but Christian Colocu's worked out so far well.
Yeah, he looked great last night.
And let's be honest, there could be a shot that if they trade Poeltl, the Spurs are going, you want Poeltl? We want Colocu. We need someone to replace him.
Ooh,
you know
Blazers
what I mean?
Would be really cool.
Ooh, the Blazers are sleeper. Mike Posner. That's a good one. Josip Nurkic. Josip Nurkic and Poeltl would be a great rotation. I'm just thinking in my head. I mean, we've talked about this before. We don't think the Lakers' problem is big guys, so I don't think he should go there.
Yeah, I've kind of shifted away from that because street clothes hasn't been able to stay off the street clothes. So if that continues, I don't see a reason why I won't. And also,
but you go Miles Turner then, because you get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, unless you're doing Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, and Jakob Poeltl. Then I would do that deal.
Miles Turner just hasn't played over 50 games in a couple of years.
So Poeltl, Richardson, and McDermott's the best deal on the table.
I think the Lakers should look into it heavily, man. Richardson's a dog. McDermott is a great 3-point shooter. Something they desperately need. I just think I don't think Damian.
McDermott's playing well too.
I don't think Damian Jones or Thomas Bryant. I don't think they're ready. Say Anthony Davis goes down for 3 to 4 weeks. They're effed, dude. They're effed. I don't feel good about either of those guys being my starting and bench for a month.
But listen to this. The reason why I think the DeAndre Ayton is more plausible is I go, okay, I get DeAndre Ayton on a 4 or 5 year deal, and my team's playing really well now, so we don't even need to rebuild. If I send you Poeltl and 1 or 2 first round picks, which seems more than enough, nothing else there. Maybe I tag Josh Richardson in that deal and make the salaries work. I get myself DeAndre Ayton. Now I have a core of Devin Vassell, DeAndre Ayton, and Keldon Johnson for the next 3 years.
Yeah, that works.
I think that's the best deal on the table for them.
Does Phoenix want Jakob Poeltl? Would Poeltl be open to expressing interest in re-signing with Phoenix once that's done? Because this is looking like, unfortunately, the last year of Chris Paul being Chris Paul.
I think that's why
you got Bridges, you got Cam.
You would call up Jakob Poeltl. This is how you get around tampering. You call up if you're the Phoenix Suns general manager, James Jones, you call up Jakob Poeltl's agent. Be like, we're looking to trade DeAndre Ayton for Jakob Poeltl and some picks. If Poeltl comes to the Suns, can we get a verbal agreement between agent and general manager that if everything works out, regardless if we win or not, would Poeltl re-sign with the Phoenix Suns for at least 2 years? If he says yes and then names his price and the price is reasonable, I would not be surprised. But at the same time, if they can make a deal where they get themselves Jakob Poeltl and the 2 first-round picks and they don't care about Jakob Poeltl walking, they're like, we're fine with Jock Landale, Dario Saric, and Bismack Biyombo. That could also be it for and maybe we'll draft a guy too. Okay, because maybe they do this trade just to move off from the salary, get Poeltl for the rental, and get the 2 picks to maybe draft their future center, and then go by committee once Poeltl leaves in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of teams are going to be calling for him.
How many pick? You know what I mean? How losing 1 player after winning a championship? How much is that?
You know what I think would be really cool is Brooklyn Nets. I don't know if they're willing to get rid of Claxton that easily, though, because Sharp doesn't look ready. Do they feel confident and comfortable about Ben Simmons being a 5 if need be?
The thing is the Nets would be the team to trade for Miles Turner. The Nets need Miles Turner. They need to trade
Miles Turner also works.
Yeah, because I would rather, if I'm the Nets in this scenario, I think it's more beneficial for the Suns to get Poeltl for Aiden, and then the Nets that call up and be like, we'll send you Claxton and Sharp for Miles Turner. You send us Miles Turner. Now we can play Ben Simmons and Miles Turner on the floor at the same time, because the only guy who's not spacing the floor is Ben Simmons. The problem with Ben Simmons, Sharp, and Claxton is it's terrible playing on the floor because you got two guys just standing there.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm the Nets, I'll take either. Definitely. Do they even have a first to work with? It's all in Houston, so I don't even know if they. I don't know if they have the assets. That's why I'm thinking Claxton is a big.
Well,
because he just got extended and he's 23 or 24 now.
Yeah, wouldn't it be? I would do something like Cam Thomas, like the guys
Cam Thomas and Claxton. Thomas, Joe Harris if they take him, but I view Joe Harris as a negative asset.
Well, I was about to say maybe we do a package of. I hate to get rid of the young guys, but not all of these guys would have to be included. But a package of Cam Thomas, Claxton, Sharp, and Kessler Edwards and Joe Harris. Just whatever way you want to put that package together, and then Buddy Hield and Miles Turner.
Yeah, I mean that works for me.
And okay, you want to hear which picks the Nets have? So the Nets own their 2023 first rounder, but I believe they can't trade that one. They can't trade their 2026. So the first pick I believe they can trade is in 2029. That's the only pick they can trade is 2029. So yeah,
it's not very enticing to me. And I think Houston has Brooklyn's pick this year.
Yeah, but they have a bunch of second rounders. So what if I offer you the 2029 first round pick, second round 2029, second rounder 2028, a second rounder 2026, and that's it. And then I give you Cam Thomas, Kessler Edwards, Claxton, and Joe Harris for Buddy. Oh, that's just such a big deal. I don't want to give you all that. So I take off Kessler Edwards. I throw you Cam Thomas and Claxton and Harris for three second rounders, one first rounder, two young guys.
I want another 3-point shooter that doesn't play.
Shout out to all 20 people watching.
Contract. Hey,
but hit that like and subscribe button.
I think that's a little too complex for me. I don't know. I think if you're Indiana, you're going to need all those young kids if I'm not getting a valuable first round pick. But at the same time, I guess a Brooklyn 2029 first also entices me, just like the Lakers 2029 pick entices me. So
when you look at this, so I just personally think the best place for Poeltl, you got to find a place where you either can trade the starting big man for him, or they don't have a starting big man. But I think the Charlotte Hornets are doing so well with Plumlee and Richards, they're not interested. I don't think they would do another deal with the Hawks, but maybe they'd be like, the Hawks are like, let's get rid of Clint Capella early and let's run Poeltl and Onyeka, and we're fine with Poeltl walking because Onyeka will take over next season and we'll get some assets from, or maybe not even assets, we just free up cap space to go get a big fish next year, and not a big fish, but someone that's worth it. And I think that's something you could look at. I really like Jusuf Nurkic and Jakob Poeltl together. I'm trying to think of other teams that could come in here and that they need a big. I think first team to suffer an injury to their big man will lead to them trading for Jakob Poeltl, because if Brook Lopez goes down, for example, he could be a guy that maybe entices teams. Okay, what if Rudy Gobert goes down, or what if Jonas Valanciunas goes down? What if Joel Embiid goes down? What if Kristaps Porzingis goes down? What if Andre Drummond goes down? Okay, or Vooch goes down.
I'd take him on the Bulls.
That's what I'm saying. What if Mitchell Robinson goes down? There's all these starters that I believe if they went down with a season-long injury. Steven Adams, another example. Jared Allen. You could see a team try to get the assets just to have this guy as a rental, so when they get the guy next year that they have locked up long term, this guy will go on free agency and they didn't skip a beat. Also, shout out Goga. He is right now ranked as the 30th best center in the NBA.
It's not very good.
But it's a top 30. The list is out of 50.
30 teams in the league.
But what do you?
I like Goga though.
Yeah, I think it was definitely very interesting. Also, I'm very proud of